Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of Listening to the Voices. Today, I am with the lovely and ever talented Luisa, who is who is currently rocking movie theater screens as the Toxie Bod in the Toxic Avenger remake. And man, what a stellar performance you have given everybody with this reimagining of Toxie.
Oh, I'm just really happy that it's been received really well. My one objective was not to be noticed as me. I was like, if anyone gets that it's me, I'm gonna be like crying in my bed, just going eating biscuits, just going, I did a crap job. But no, my job was to be Peter Dinklage being Winston Goose. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was my primary objective. Mission Impossible, eat your heart out. I was like, try that one. But yeah, and then it came out, and it was first screened in 2023.
Yep.
And I was so nervous. I was like, oh gosh, they're all going to be like, who is this person in the Toxie suit? Like, that's not Peter. And then it kind of went under the radar and no one really said anything. And
Right.
I was like, great. Until Macon then decided to say something. And I was like, oh, that's a
Yeah.
surprise. You're letting people know. But yeah, no, I'm really pleased. I'm flattered. I'm
So it
really pleased that it's worked.
yeah, I'm super pleased as well because you did an amazing job as Toxie. And it also kind of keeps the tradition alive because the original Toxic Avenger was played by somebody else and voiced by somebody else as
Yep.
well too. So it keeps that little bit of history going as well. So you just said
Yeah.
it was a surprise that they were revealing you as the Toxie Bod. That wasn't discussed beforehand. They just kind
No,
of
it
like
was
threw
always
it out
at
there.
discretion. You get a
Okay.
credit at the discretion of the producers, which is fully understandable. I'm used to within my puppetry experience and motion capture experience,
Right.
usually getting a credit further down. Everyone's part of this wonderful network of what we call creation, film creation. You get a credit, but a lot of the time it's further down. It's like in, stunts and everything else. It's what we call the foundation bed, and then you get the people who are the main talent at the top. Um, so I just thought that I would be hidden in amongst some of those credits.
Right, right.
And then it became one of these things where they were like, no, 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 you're Toxie Bod. You're up there with Elijah and with Peter. And I was like, I'm sorry. In what world? And I'm not gonna lie, I screenshot that the minute I saw it on IMDb. I was
Oh.
like, screen.
Yeah, so this is like your first real like I guess you could say like widely known role, right?
Yeah, this
Is
is
that
like carrying a movie type role,
yeah, yeah,
without people knowing it's you until it comes out.
right. So do you how did you feel when Toxic Avenger got shelved for a couple years? Did you think it was ever going to see the light of day? Like
It was a
how
weird one, wasn't it? Because
yeah,
nothing was really transparent in why it was being shelved. I still
no,
to this day don't know. It was just filmed in 2021, screened 2023. I was like, great,
yeah.
this is the time it comes out. I'll get to see it. I was like, I think the closest it was in Spain. I'd had my first child. I've recently had a second, and we're stopping at
Yep.
two. I need sleep.
Sleep is
But
great.
but it was one of those things where I was like, it's so close, but I can't really
Yeah.
go. I've literally just given birth to my firstborn. It'll be in the UK, it'll come out, and then didn't hear anything. So there was a bit of anxiety just to go, will I ever see it? Will it ever emerge? And then I thought, oh, maybe it won't, or maybe it will just stream one time. Or why are they having an issue trying to get distributors? And you hear all these things that, what I'd call it's not even the dark web, it's kind of like the grey oozy web, where it's
Yeah.
basically Reddit, where everyone has an opinion,
Yeah.
and no one really knows.
Right.
And then it was announced. It was like Cineverse picked it up, and here we go.
Yeah, and then it was like balls to the wall after Cineverse picked it up, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I know we were in contact with a couple people over at Cineverse, Horror Wars was, and we were doing some promotional things for Toxic Avenger. We got the stickers and the pins and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and we were giving them out. And it just felt so cool to be able to be a part of it because I've expressed to you in our messages a little bit. I grew up with the Toxic Avenger. I am 41 years old, came out in 1984. I was born in 84. Like this has been something that my dad watched when I was little. I didn't understand what the hell he was watching. I should not have been watching Toxic Avenger at 6 years old, but here we are. And like, and now we get to relive this. And you, are you planning? All right, hold on. I got two things here that I was going to say, and I kind of got myself caught up. You mentioned the UK premiere. You guys
Yeah.
actually did end up having a UK premiere. How did it feel to be able to do that finally as well?
Oh, that was just brilliant. That was brilliant. It's great to like see a lot of the people who are promoting it, but also fans, genuine fans
Yeah.
who'd come dressed up, who'd come just with exuberance and just laughing the whole way through the film. But also it was really nice to just to see it on the big screen, to actually and it's I knew it was funny when I first read it because I had to film it as well.
Right.
Seeing it on the big screen, it's so funny. It's like little side reactions you get from, Fritz
Right.
in the film and stuff. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, of
you've
course,
seen
of
it.
course, yeah.
But there's just so much in there that I didn't get to see because I wasn't in those
Right.
scenes.
Right.
But it was great. It's really nice just to have a nice day out. We had babysitters.
Yes.
Yay for the babysitters. My partner and I, Mike, we went and we just had a great time. And, Sigma Entertainment, who are the distributors here in the UK, were really lovely. Just put everything on. We had like a wall that we could take pictures, and there was a big Toxie cutout.
Hmm.
Pretty life size. It was my
Yeah.
size, which I thought was
Yeah.
great. And you could just
And
take pictures with it with the fans and say hi.
that's really cool. And there was like a message from the director at the beginning, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah, Macon.
has that been revealed what he said yet? Like, or does anybody, or do you guys are the only ones that know what the message was?
Do you know what? This is a true story. I hate saying this is a true story because it makes you feel like genuinely you're a liar. People to go,
Right.
and this is true. You're like every other time wasn't.
Right.
But I was actually moving from, I did like an introduction on the stage, and then they played Macon. And by the time I got back to my seat, half of what he'd said had already been said. And I was like, what did he say? They're like, shh, he's talking. I was like, oh, I'll catch it up later then, shall I? But when I got to my seat, it was a lot of thanks for the people who'd contributed to making the movie. It was basically, people like Spencer, who I worked with, who was Garbinger and also Chicken Head, the
Hmm.
stunt team that were there, just anyone who's like all the producers, DOPs, legendary for all their work putting it together as well. And it was very much him introducing the film as a homage to the original and
Yeah.
saying, look, we hope you enjoy it. It was made for the people who love Toxie. And we hope by virtue of that, other people will then love it. And then, yeah. So it's basically just this an intro runway to the film, and then a lot of thank yous.
Oh, okay, awesome. Because I saw that, the message was there, but I didn't really see anybody talking about what he said. So, thank you for sharing.
No worries. I mean, Macon's always pretty cool. He's so supportive anyway. So on
Yeah.
set, it was one of those really strange things where he'd just be like, he'd talk to the main talent and there's a lot of breath and space to get what is exactly the shot that you want. And then
Yeah.
he'd turn around to me and yes, I'm an actor and I'm very familiar with what I do. This is my career. But to have him go, great, Elijah, great, Peter. Louisa, you good? And I'm like, oh, if they're good, I'm good. I'm
It's like, how
so
can I
good right
complain,
now.
right?
I'm like, it's good. If you were good, it's good. But you happy? Like, it took a bit of about 3 or 4 days just to settle in and be like, okay, they will let you know if they're not happy.
Right.
They will let
Okay.
you know. It's one of those pinch me moments where I think a lot of actors they talk about imposter syndrome. I think for the first 3 or 4 days, I was like, is this me?
Yeah.
Did I get the right person here? Well, I really hope I don't get busted. They're going to realize they got the wrong person, and
I know.
then you just
Clearly
settle
they
into
did
it and
not.
go, "This is my job. This is what I'm going to
Yep.
do. This is yeah." So
Yeah.
it was a blast. One of the best jobs I've ever done.
So, and you could see it too. Like, I mean, the enthusiasm that you're having while you're doing the tour of, podcasts and stuff like that, you're genuinely just happy to be a part of this. Like, and it's so cool because it's somebody like me that has loved it for so long and never thought that they would see something like this pop up again because it was so popular in the 90s that it had
Yeah,
a video game and a cartoon and all that. And then I guess just everything does repeat itself, and nostalgia is one hell of a drug because here we are
it
now
really
finally in
is.
2025.
But also, when there's
Um,
a love for it in one era, I think it comes back. Or as
yeah,
my mum would say, flares. They'll always come back. I'm like, not
yeah.
always, not always.
They do. And
They
most of the
do.
popular things do.
When you're
Um,
4'9", flares have a certain end point, and it never quite flares. So
oh
it's
man.
like bootleg for me. You're cutting off the boot, so it's just leg.
So speaking of the set and you having kind of like an imposter syndrome, how was it like? knowing that Kevin Bacon and oh crap, I'm losing his name right now. Oh man.
Peter Dinklage,
No, no, I know Peter
Elijah
Dinklage,
Wood.
Elijah Wood. Yes, sorry,
Yeah.
my bad.
No, no.
Knowing that they were actually in the movie for that long, because I thought when they were going to be announced, like, oh, they're only going to be in the movie for 10 minutes or
Yeah.
20 minutes here or whatever, but they were actually on screen a lot. And you got to interact with them a pretty good amount of times. Like, how ultimately did that feel to like see people like Kevin Bacon and Elijah Wood and Peter Dinklage? And I know that you had an interesting process with Dinklage
Yeah.
in the role, so we'll get to that in just a second. But how was it like actually interacting and bouncing off of those people and seeing how they really are on set when when they're filming?
You like it depends obviously on the actor and the situation you're in. I think
Right,
every set is different. What I found with this is you grow up with I grew up with Kevin Bacon, I grew up with like Elijah Wood, like watching all their films, watching their work. Peter Dinklage for the latter part of Game of Thrones, things like that. But it's one of those things where when you meet those actors, you hope that they won't be ego. You hope that they're open to play, that
right,
they're in the moment, they're not intimidating, and everything I hoped for was just absolutely put out there and 100% confirmed. And with that makes it just really inviting and really relaxing because you
yeah,
can just do your job. You're just like,
yeah,
oh, they're just other people who chose to be actors. This is wonderful. And then what I learnt with Peter, his mannerisms, and it's basically just trying to impersonate someone so well. We had a TV show over here in the UK called Stars in Your Eyes, where people would say, hello, my name's Gemma, and I'm from Essex, and I'm going to play Celine Dion, like that. And they'd go back behind the screen, and then they'd come out as Celine Dion, and they'd sing like Celine Dion, but everything
okay.
would be to the tune of that person in a way that's kind of like a simplistic version of what I had to do. I had to become Peter being Winston. I had to be so convincing that when I was acting with Elijah, with the nuts, with Kevin, then Kevin, one name basis, with Kev. Um,
You're no longer
don't
six
tell him I
degrees
said
of
that.
separation.
He'll never be able to air this. He'll be like, who is that calling me Kev? Um, with the wonderful cast that we had when I was acting with them, it just felt like I could play in the moment because you have to be in the moment. You can't rehearse what Peter had done and go, whatever happens, regardless to what you give me, that's what I'm going to do. It won't make sense. It won't gel. Like if you have rehearsed lines and then you talk to your friend and they basically talk about something else and you just give them a line from a different conversation, it's
Right.
weird. So yeah, it was I hate using the word nice, but it was really nice. It was really lovely. It was very generous. So you could just take a breath and go, okay, cool. I'm not worried anymore. We're just gonna play. We're just gonna see what happens in the scene, and it's gonna be a surprise to both of us. And that half the time, that's just great. Especially Taylor. Taylor's really good at giving you just a dry performance that she just suddenly circumvents with just a look.
Right,
But it just says everything in that look.
right.
So yeah, that's a. I had great fun filming with her the scene. Well, I don't want to give any spoilers if you haven't seen it, but it's like one of the Kevin Bacon scenes, penultimate, close to the
Um,
end.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right.
if you haven't seen it, trust me, you know what I'm talking about. Let's just say that there's chains. There's
Yep.
chains.
Yeah. That is this probably the most brutal project you've done
In
in terms of
terms, yeah,
violence?
in terms of no, not in terms of
Well, no,
violence. In terms
I
of
mean,
I'm
you've
saying
done
gore.
yeah,
Yeah.
gore, yeah, because I mean, like
Yeah.
you've done stuff for like Baldur's Gate and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So
And I've also
obviously,
in my work as a stage combat, I've played zombies
yeah,
and stuff like that. You
zombies and
have
stuff.
blood
Yeah. So
chucked at you and everything. But
yeah.
yeah, my mum's really proud. She's like, oh, she's Portuguese. I showed her the trailer for this and she was like, oh, why don't you do that? Why do you do that? I was like, because it's fun. She's like, oh, well, I like you to do something. Why don't you do Dr. Zhivago? Oh, it's so
Dr.
beautiful, Dr. I'm
Zhivago.
like, oh, for goodness sake. If you ever want to do a remake of Dr. Zhivago, anyone out there listening, please just hire me and my mum can be quiet about Dr. Zhivago.
Dr. Zhivago is a very underrated movie, though.
I'll play a wolf in
You-
in the snow. I don't care. Just use my leg extensions. It's fine.
Use your legs. All right, so
But yeah,
we've
no,
only.
I
Oh,
it
God.
it was a lot of process, a lot of gore. But to be honest, I don't know whether I'm crazy. I love that. I
Yeah. I
love
mean, It's horror movies, man. That's like because realistically, at its core, it's a horror movie. It's
Yeah,
it's a comedy. Yes, it's a black comedy, but it's a horror movie, man. Like there's a lot of really vile and despicable things happening in this movie, real life and movie
yeah.
wise, regardless. So we've only got a couple minutes left, and I did want to ask you just a couple questions. And obviously, I'm not one to shy away. As we discussed beforehand, there was a little bit of a snafu in the time.
Don't worry,
I
you got
was,
it.
yeah,
Open
I
book.
was, it's okay. I was going by, what Google was telling me. And like you said, it probably didn't account for daylight savings times yet or whatever. So that kind of really shortened our time.
Yeah,
But, I've been very appreciative of this. So I do only have a couple questions left for you right now.
that's fine. We'll
Um,
do a part one, part two.
Okay, hey, you heard it first, everybody. Part one, part two. And because I do want to get into talks with you about Wicked, about Destiny,
I
about
mean,
Baldur's Gate.
in the vein of Wicked, part one,
Yeah.
part two. Let's
Part
just
one,
do
part two. Yeah, let's do it. All right, cool. I appreciate that. So, all right, two more questions and then we'll
it.
get
Okay.
out of here. And they're really easy questions too.
Oh
So,
God.
what did you when you were doing the post-credit scene?
Yeah.
Okay, Cineverse has already said what this is. We've already seen the recipe. We've already seen everything. So this technically isn't a spoiler, but
No, no.
for some people, they might be kind of tiffed that we're bringing it up. So in lieu of that, we're going to give a 3 second silence. Okay. So Toxie's grilled cheese.
Yes.
How did that scene come about? Like, was it originally part of the movie, or was it just something that they were like, let's fucking do this?
This is pure Macon genius.
Okay.
Just it was written into the script, and I'm trying to remember whether it was there initially, but I know that when we were in Bulgaria starting, it was in the script at that point,
Oh,
and it
really?
was just this wonderful moment of normalcy, if that's a word. But you just have Toxie there, and this randomness that's happening in the background with his son. And
Right.
you're just like, but the objective is, hey guys, let's break the fourth wall and let's talk about this. Let's talk about this sandwich. Let's just run it through. It feels like if Toxie had a daytime TV show, it might be
Yes.
that.
Yes.
But it
And
was
then
just one of those very random, surreal, but also like I want to say beautifully executed moments where people are just meant to go, I really want a grilled cheese sandwich now.
look, and I'm gonna tell you that was very effective because again, we don't shy away from it on our show. We were very high watching Toxic Avenger, like ridiculously high. So there was some gummies, there was some flour, there was some stuff. And when that grilled cheese segment happened, all I could think about with Josh and my kid was, damn, I really want a fucking grilled cheese right now. So it was effective. It
Every
was
time
very
my partner
effective.
saw it on the premiere, and he was like, "Can we just go and get a grilled cheese? Where do I get a grilled cheese in Leicester Square in the UK?" I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh."
Oh. Um, and then with my final question, do you think there's going to be a Toxic Avenger 2?
Honest answer is I do not know, but if they asked me, I wouldn't even hesitate saying yes. I'd be like,
Hell yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I feel like there might be. They're kind of doing the same thing they did with Terrifier because now it's
Oh,
going to end up, I think it's going to end up being streamed in like October or something
you know,
like,
if they wanted, I don't know how they'd work it into the plot, but I could use my daughter as like a mini Topsy,
oh my God.
get her all,
Kind of like in Beetlejuice,
prostheticked up.
Beetlejuice.
Oh,
Like, did you see it in Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice with the baby and everything? Just
I
put,
haven't
put
seen it yet, but I've
oh,
seen
oh,
I've
sorry.
seen no, 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 it's fine, it's
Okay.
fine. I've had friends who like kind of worked on
Okay. Oh,
it.
okay. I said, there you go. Hey, look, even more to talk about in part two. So again, Luisa, I thank you so much for your time. I'm sorry that things got kind of messed up
Not a
today.
problem. Seriously, hit me up. Let's do a part two.
Yeah. All right. Fantastic. I appreciate everything. Thank you again.
No worries. Take care.
You too.